Namaste. Primarily, I'm addressing this post because I'm tired to type, so I decided to do a quick blog. Unfortunately, I can't do a live YouTube, so I have to record the video and upload it, but I will do that. And another thing, I'm responding mainly to Mahesha, but those who have been following that satsanga can also partake in this conversation that's happening. So, primarily, I had put a question on what's truly awareness, unarvu. Kannada does not have an exact equivalent. In Kannada, it says bhavane, and it also says bhavane, and it also says anusike. Anusike is more of a feeling. So Kannada does not have a direct, because bhavane becomes also, it's not exactly unarvu. Unarvu, Tamil bhavane, rendu irukku. Unarvu is consciousness, awareness. Awareness of consciousness. That is our central focus here. Because consciousness is something that we all use it. Jagruti is another word we use. But that is also meant for a state, woken state, awake. I am awake, I am jagrut. But awareness, are you really awake? Are you really aware of your awakeness? Then aware is another word that English is there. And, if I go to Sanskrit, Chaitanya is your consciousness, but what is Jagruti is Jagruti. Chaitanya Jagruti, you can say. That would probably translate to awareness, or else the Sanskrit word does not strike in my mind right now. So awareness, we don't have an organ. We have indriyas, the jnanendriyas, the karmendriyas, all that we know, fundamentals, right? Sensory organs, the locomotory and other organs, but we do not have an organ for awareness. The entire being is the awareness organ, in you can say. And that's why the consciousness, the Brahman, the Atman takes manifestation. Because I always say, in recent times, a movie can be played in many, many, many layers. A hero can be holding an iPhone, and the iPhone can be playing a movie with a hero holding another iPhone. So a movie can be playing in many, 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 many layers. That's fine. But ultimately, that movie has to play on something that is firm, the substratum. And Adi Shankara says Brahman is that substratum on which everything else stands. Turiya. Turiya is the substratum on which all other states stand. So once we get into that level of understanding, that awareness does not have an organ per se, but the entire manifestation is to bring that awareness. And we need this consciousness enabled life form, and eventually its evolution, you can say, or prarabdha cycle, whatever, what I call it as a three-legged stool, vasanakshaya, manonasha, and obviously, the acquisition of knowledge, what is that? Jnana sampatti, vishaya sampatti, all that is one leg. And then the next one is, you get all the knowledge, and then you have to lose your vasanas. That is where your intentions are. If I have an intention right now to eat idli, I can't be doing this video. Or I have to do a video with eating idli, that won't be nice. But what I'm trying to say is, if I have an intention of doing something else, let us say I have an intention of playing a game, I can't be doing this. I have an intention. Everything is ultimately an intention. Intention has to come to its fulfillment. And then one can say, what is then a jnani's life? We'll talk about jnani's life and all later on, because that's a different plane of discussion, and we don't need that actually. Because once you become a jnani, you will know what to do and be. So one need not, prepare how to be as a jnani, right? So, because then you are in that neutral state and everything is a play, and you know it is a play, you are part of the play, the puppet is going on, you are part of that puppet, still you are able to enjoy the play, being yourself another puppet, and you also know the puppeteer, because even the puppeteer communicates to you. So it's that state of existence, everything is happening cohesively. Yeah, ella saying that is not our point. So let me focus. It took me about 6 minutes to get to this staging this. So our friend Mahesh, who I know since his childhood, I knew him as a kid, he had said one thing. What did he say? He said, Aham Brahmasmi. We all have learned this in an academic way and we quote this. Do we really know what is Aham Brahmasmi beyond quoting a Vedanta scripture? How does it come into play? We'll get into that. And do we know really what is awareness, Unarvu? Because Unarvu is one thing where you don't have an organ. I can taste a mulaga bhaji, a chili bhaji with my tongue. I can feel the temperature. But for feeling that Unarvu, that Unarvu is the Suddha Chaitanya. If I can be in the attention of that Unarvu itself, that is nothing but Chaitanya. And that's why Bhagavan always says, Hridaya Kuhara Madhye Kevalam Brahma Matram. Right now, right in middle of everybody's heart is Brahman. You don't need another Vishnu Sahasranama, another Shiva Sahasranama, another japa, mantra, all that are to bring your attention to that. If your attention is right now here, do I need another pravachana, another course? I am right now in this moment. If I can sustain in this moment all the time at the mercy of the divine, it will happen the way it is meant to happen. Everything will happen. The only problem is not in the inclusion. Everything is inclusive only. In Advaita, everything is inclusive. It is exclusion amongst the inclusiveness. That is where the ego has its play. My children, they are really smart. My granddaughter, she is a great dancer. There comes the problem. Now you have an exclusion within the inclusion. You see a dancer and say, wow, what a beautiful dancer, what a beautiful cricketer. There is an inclusion only. You are enjoying it in all inclusiveness. Anyway, ego is the one main thing, but ego keeps you in a separated falsity so that you can experience this consciousness and its awareness, and then brings you back to that point where you can finally question the separatedness. Reality is there is no separatedness. The moment I close my eyes and go to sleep, I put you all to sleep. My entire Chaitanya Satsanga goes to sleep. Your Chaitanya Satsanga, you put to sleep. When I say your mind, I mean the instance that is there in our device. Anyway, so awareness is the key here. And we also spoke about, I am able to have an awareness separate from my own self. Really? Only when you do some meditative act, maybe you can observe yourself as a breathing being. But in reality, do you need such a secluded activity? In the beginning, maybe, yes. That's why you need to practice certain time for prayer, certain time for meditation, so that when you sit and meditate, you become the breathing, you become the being, And then there is another being that wakes up, the ego that was active till that minute. It is not going to stop suddenly and it says, hey man, how long are you going to sit? It's time, 15 minutes. You have stood very well in comparison to the rest. It's time you fold up now. He wakes up, or he'll remind you, look, you didn't have a good breakfast today. It's time. Or something else. If nothing else, then it will start feeling as a scratch and itch and whatnot. Okay, let's say you have conditioned your mind to overcome all that. Still, it's just a state where you are putting your manos into a laya, manolaya, not manonasha. Manonasha can only happen when your vasana kshaya has happened, and they go in hand. Sometimes one leads to another. And Vishaya Sampatti, Jnana Sampatti is another thing. These three stools on which acquisition of knowledge, the truth. And this is what basically Vidyaranya says. One in his basically there is what did he write? Vidyaranya wrote a big treatise on this to expound on this. So, I'll come to that later. One is constantly in awareness, always. The question is, are you able to bring that limited awareness to the perspective of the divine awareness? All you need to do is an immediate reflection and then let go of the outcomes. It's like you are willing to accept the outcome as what it is meant to be. That's it. Every minute the outcome is meant to be. And once that happens, Panchadashi is, he expounds on another path to get there. Basically, he says you are bound by ignorance, and then the ignorance is lost from paroksha, first paroksha jnana and then aparoksha jnana, and then you get clarity to the truth. That's what is Panchadashi is all about. Basically, you are ignorant, and the ignorance is taken out by an outsider, and then you acquire that inner knowledge. The Guru within wakes up, and you see it for yourself, and then there you are. Anyway, so we were also talking about observer and observed. See, the observer, the observed, Drigdrishya, Viveka, all this happens when the Drishya becomes part of the observer, when the observer is able to be totally immersed. Only when the limitedness is lost, only when the ego is lost. Let us be very clear on that. And to lose an ego is not so easy, because it has intentions to be completed. Until that intentions are done, the ego will not lose itself simply. And that's where grace has to come. And to me, grace is the moment you have turned yourself towards God, grace has already come in your life. It's a matter of, you already know there is America. You're just walking towards that direction. And we should stop looking for lottery tickets in spirituality. We are meant to acquire what we are meant to acquire, and we will acquire what we are meant to acquire. Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.